All right, so let's talk about Meghan Markle at the Invictus Games 2025 because wow, she is really, and I mean really trying to redeem herself. And when I say trying, I mean overly compensating to the point that it's painfully obvious. I've been watching the clips, pictures, and the body language, and let me tell you, this is PR performance if I've ever seen one. She's all over Harry, she's clingy, smiling like her life depends on it, laughing a little bit too hard, and just trying a little bit too much. Almost as if she's desperate to prove something. And let's be real, she is trying to prove something because it has been an absolute disaster of a January for her. Declining public image and favor, and Meghan is out there acting like she and Harry are the happiest couple on earth. But the problem is, it does not feel real. Nothing she does feels authentic, like it's really her. It's like when you see someone just trying so hard to prove that they're fine. But in reality, we can all see that person is not fine and that person needs help or that person needs something because we can see through it. That's Meghan. Now, for those who don't know, I've been in broadcasting for over 2 decades. I've seen hundreds of couples in front of cameras, behind the scenes, and let me tell you, it's a huge difference between couples that are genuinely strong and a couple like Meghan and Harry that are performing for an audience. Today, I want to dive into that dynamic. Not just as someone who has worked in media, but someone who has experience working alongside their spouse. So let's get started. Hi everyone, I'm Star Chairs, and in this channel, we do everything through the lens of PR and tech. Let's start with the most obvious. Meghan wants to be adored. We all know that. But she goes about it all wrong. Instead of people naturally warming up to her, she forces it, like plain out forces it. And we just heard about it where she's practically trying to force herself on William each and every time she saw him at the firm, because she has this thing where she just smiles too wide, laughs too loud, and clings on for dear lives. And the result is it comes out as inauthentic and people can see it. It's calculated and frankly, it's exhausting to watch. And people just, I feel like people now are rolling their eyes like, oh, here she is. Way to go, Meghan. It's a drama. You know, she's constantly acting because there's something we've seen repeatedly. Every time she tried to win people over, it backfires because she's just trying too hard. And people don't like that. Whether you're doing it with family or dating, people don't like desperate. And that's how she comes off, inauthentic and desperate. And authenticity is effortless. But Meghan, she puts on a full production and we can all see it. She doesn't seem to understand that people don't like being manipulated into someone liking them. If you have to convince people you're likable, you're probably not. Now let's talk about working alongside your spouse. Me and my spouse have had the opportunity of working for the same entity. I was working behind the scenes and he was working in front of the camera. And trust me, we knew how to balance personal and professional life. And this is how we did it. When we were at events together, we kept it classy, supportive, and professional. Did we share a look that said, you got this? Absolutely. A quick, discreet touch on the arm or shoulder? Sure. But never in a way that it screamed, hey everyone, look, we're married, we're so in love, come and see this. Never, 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 never. Because that is what Meghan is doing. She is using PDA as a performance tool, not just as show of affection, but as a calculated move to make people believe she and Harry are stronger than ever. And when you force that kind of message, it loses credibility. It's the difference between genuine support and needing something to prove. And when you're comfortable and secure in your relationship, you don't need to convince anybody that you're fine because you just are. That's it. You just are. Now, here's a whole different layer for you all because I've worked with politicians, community leaders, and public figures. And let me tell you, the ones that understand the game and the ones that don't. Spouses of politicians don't cling, fawn, or constantly touch their partners in public. Why? Because confidence speaks louder than performative affection. The best public couples are the ones that complement each other without being competitive. And that is what Meghan Markle is doing. She's competing with the Invictus Games. She's competing with Harry instead of showing that they're okay. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. The first image, I'll pull it up if I can and I'll put it for you all, is where she's putting her head on his shoulder and watching in the stands. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Like, you guys have been married for so many years, have 2 kids, and you guys are public figures, and you're still doing this performative act. Okay, no one believes it. Because I've seen spouses who've tried to be center of attention, and guess what? Those never end well. The spouses end up deleting pictures, videos, reels, whatever it is, to tone it down and learning the hard way. But they learn the hard way. Unlike Meghan, she doesn't learn. She doesn't learn that there's a professional setting and an intimate setting, which is when they're by themselves. There's a balance between being present and being overpowering. And Meghan is 100% overpowering. Meghan has no balance. She's always pushing herself into the frame. Like, I feel like if she's closer to Harry, they're going to point at her. Like, the camera's going to be on her and she knows it. And if she's overacting and being over loving, that's the picture she wants. And she knows that that's the picture they're going to get. That is why she's always pushing herself into the frame, making sure she's seen, making sure people know she's there. And that's why it doesn't work. Now, this thing here isn't new. Meghan has a pattern of trying to control her image, and yet it somehow never works. It never ever works, and she does not like to change directions whatsoever, because she keeps using the word family, and she knows that there's nothing more important than family. That wording is when you use it in a sentence towards other people. Because when you're family to someone else, you just feel so proud. But this means nothing to Meghan. Because if it did, she would try to make things right with her family. Look, I understand having toxic family members. I understand how difficult it can be to get along with your in-laws. But that's just part of life. You get what you get. That's it. And you have to make the best of it. If you love your husband, you make the best of it. But if you can control your tongue, and if you can control the situation, and if you guys can still be in a room where it's non-confrontational and it's normal and it's okay, you hold your tongue and you support your husband through it, because family is the nucleus of everything. There's nothing worth more than family. At the end of the day, we all die. We don't take anything with us. The only thing we take is our memories, and that's all the things that we have when we die is our family. Everything else doesn't matter. So when she throws around, you guys are like my family, it means nothing, because she speaks to no one in her husband's family and no one in her family, only her mother. And I'm sure she has a tight leash on her mom, allegedly. That's my opinion, okay? That's my opinion. I believe she has her mother on a tight leash, and her mother happily complies because she's like her daughter and her daughter is like her. I don't know how better to put that, but that's the best I could put it. So I feel like this is just mounting and mounting and mounting. So she really is overcompensating each and every time the camera is on her, because just in January there were failed projects, stalled deals, and fading Hollywood relevance is on the horizon, and we can see it, and I'm sure she can see it as well. And guess what? She has no one else to blame but herself. She burned the bridges, so now she's reaping what she sowed, and she doesn't like it. That's why she's overcompensating for everything at the Invictus Games. Now, the smiling and the clinginess and excessive PDA, it's an attempt to distract from reality. That's my opinion. Because no amount of over smiling is going to change the fact that her empire is crumbling around her, and she is the only one to blame. Now let's go into her Instagram stories, because she has posted a lot during the Invictus Games, and it's all about her. Now let's go ahead and look at the very first one. It's like she gave the phone off, and of course she's in the picture. She's the first one. Harry's in the background, and then Harry, the next one, he's dancing, and Meghan is moving the lady, and of course back to hugging. And then it's like, Harry, I don't want to be the only hugger. Go ahead and hug people. of course, they had to get a picture of Harry hugging so she won't be the only one. And what is she doing? Like, again, it's not about her. It's not about her and Harry. It's about the veterans. There is one post that I do like, and I wish she would have kept it this way the entire time. And it's this next one coming up. It's when she grabs the phone and she's filming because she's not part of it. It's on her point of view. Something like this because it's her story on her Instagram. It's more influency. I like this part. I like it because it's not about her. It's about her point of view. And she's putting Harry and everybody else in the spotlight. But she couldn't handle it. She's like, that's enough. Give it off to the social media manager, whoever it is. Then she continues to put a little bit here and a little bit there, and that's okay. The next one, of course, she has to be back doing her thing. And now she's walking with Harry to a very important meeting. Okay. This next one, I feel like it was a dig because she says, "Good morning, Elizabeth," and then she's in the picture. I'm like, is that a dig to the queen? That's horrible. Anyways, then there's Harry, and then finally, all about Meghan, these next ones. These are the type of shots that we call the money shots because these are the shots that are going to go out to the public. If you're a public figure, community leader, you want to be seen as interactive with the children, with the community. But Meghan, it just doesn't work. We know too much about her. We just know that she doesn't talk to her family, her husband's family, that she's completely cut them out of their lives. So it does not work. How can you be loving and part of a family if you don't even talk to your own family? And of course, she's seen with more babies. Why not her babies? Oh no, because her babies need privacy, but other babies, let's show them in the front. And finally, the last of it is exactly what I was talking about, where it's not about her, it's about the games, and that's what she does in these. So what do you think? Do you see it differently than I do? Let's get the conversation going in the comments because I love hearing your take. And if you made it this far, I appreciate you. You're amazing. Thank you very much. But also, make sure you hit the subscribe button so we can continue diving into breakdowns together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.